Alright, welcome back to the channel. I'm going to start into my bike for the next video series, and basically I'm going to start to tear down, taking the plastics off, and probably even maybe the tank after I get it drained out. It's going to be in preparation for basically new paint and paint theme. Brother-in-law is going to do it for me, so I'm going to get it all taken off and go from there. Alright, let's get to it. This here is one of the pieces that I had gotten. A gentleman off of one of the forums I belong to sent it to me, and it was cracked. Still one piece, but basically went through and just did my best job of doing some plastic mending and welding, so to speak, and gluing together, sanded it and painted it to where it didn't look too bad. That was one piece. And then got this one off of eBay. You can kind of see where I got things all cobbled together, and had a few areas on the top side too that I did the same thing too. And if I remember right, there was a big huge chunk missing out of here that I filled in, and basically rebuild this little tab or nipple in the plastic so that the side piece could still attach and not be flopping around. So, and still some broken pieces on the wings here that I didn't even bother to mend through. Just had a couple holes already established in there, and I just used zip ties to keep everything together from there to there. So, alright. You can see, well, I don't know how well you can see, but did some mending there and there on this piece. Still kind of started pulling apart again after I got it all put back on the bike. So, and this one was good, didn't have to do anything to it other than you can see that they've been painted multiple times, and I didn't bother working my paint on the inside, so you can't see it anyway. Alright. Onwards to the front end. This piece here on the inside just had a couple spots that were cracking. Drilled them out at the crack appeared to be stopping, and then filled it back in with plastic to fill it back in, and then painted it. Spot there that was the same. can see now I got a lot of oil and dirtiness popping down off of here. Yeah. And I did some patchwork here that's starting to peel off. Maybe because of the oil, or I just didn't clean it good enough. But either way, that'll get fixed. I think it's the, yeah. In here, this hole, I don't know how well you'll be able to see that, but basically I had to fill all that in with ABS plastic. Just melted it off of. Let's see if I got one handy piece. Just had some ABS, black ABS tubing that I picked up from, I think it was Menards or whatnot. Sawed pieces off, broke it down, melted it, and that's what I used to fill back in on the factory ABS. And it held a little bit, but on this back side I can see it starting to crack again. So I'm sure that because it was, this wasn't machined or mold injected at the right angle, I might have had a little bit too much torque or pressure on it when I bolted it in. Yeah, I'm still recording, so that's good. Try to keep my bolts with the side that it belongs to, so I can properly bag and label them. I do want to share real quick while taking these off is the mirrors in these Aftermarket side mirrors had broke out. They were just trashed and broke out, so I had some little LED lights that I basically installed on the inside. I got one of those wall mirrors or back of door mirror and cut out a couple pieces, ground down the edges so it would fit in there, and took some of, got myself some Rust-Oleum mirror effect spray can. Just made sure the glass was real clean. Sprayed that on the back for the areas I chipped when I cut the mirror piece out. So worked out really well. I tried doing it on plexiglass first. I watched a different video, said that it would work, but it didn't really work. But I had a couple areas where the filament got damaged on the back side, and that stuff filled it right back in and no issues. So alright, I got a little one not wanting to listen, so I'm going to pause her and go deal with that. So I'll be back. And alright, back at it. So Alright, that's pretty much it as far as taking the plastics off. Taking the tank off is just going to be just as easy. 2 bolts here to get rid of the top stay, and the rear tank mount bolt just lift straight up. Just have to make sure that I disconnect the hoses underneath for the vent, pass by, and pass by is the drain, and then the fuel line going into the carburetor from the Petcock. I got about that much hose underneath there, kind of wrapped around, and an additional inline filter just to get whatever the filter coming out of the Petcock doesn't get. So all in all, that's it. All right. I know I didn't take all the front fairing or the front wheel plastics off. I got a couple LED lights that are on that portion, and just double-sided sticky tape. I just used a plastic spreader, whatever you want to call it. Just stuck it in between and peeled it off that way, so it's steady, so I didn't ruin the paint that I had on there, just in case it doesn't need to be messed with. But I'll do the other side and take the plastics off, and then I'll clean everything up and get it ready to go for new paint. Now that I got my tank off the bike, I basically just propped it up. I got a little workbench that splits so the Petcock and all that can go in between there, and it'll sit fairly level, as you can see there. And then I just got the fuel line going down in the tank. Just kind of make things easy, since the Petcock's got a vacuum diaphragm in it. Just got me a little plunger. Just pull that out a little bit and drain a whole lot faster. So if you got a little plunger to create your vacuum, that'll work great. I know some people already have a vacuum gun in their garage or set up, so use that if they want to. But figured before I completely drain the tank, I would get a quick clip of this. So something to think about, might make things easier. Alright, see you later. Another thing I'm going to do quick is, since I got the fuel line off, I'm just going to let it run till all the fuel's out of it. So I'm gonna get below freezing tonight, and whatever fuel's in there, if there's any water content left in there, I don't want it to gum up the carburetor at all. If there's any ethanol left in the gas. Shouldn't run that much. Should run it pretty quick. You can see it's already stuttering. But I just want to make sure that I get most of the gas out. Running high octane, shouldn't be any ethanol in there to gum it up, but just to be safe, I'm going to run it dry anyway, since I'll be breaking it all down anyway. So, alright, see you later. Alright, just going to leave tonight off with letting the tank hang and air out a little bit with the residue fuel that's still in there. Then got all my hoses and bushings and bolts and stuff for the tank to put away and put my tools away. And just a quick look at what's left to do with the bike tomorrow, or the next time that I get out here to get into it. And got all my plastics off and ready to go for paint, or ready to go get ready for paint. So when it comes down to it, there ain't a whole lot to these bikes. So alright, well, see you later.